Hi there, Year 4. So for our second geography lesson today, we're going to look at the Anglo-Saxon invaders. Now we know that the Anglo-Saxons were in Britain before the time that we think King Arthur was around. But it's important to think about why they were there and where they came from as well. So we're going to be learning about that during today's geography lesson. So for now, I'd like you please to pause the video and write today's date and learning objective, which is to find out where the Anglo-Saxons came from and to consider what it might have been like to be an Anglo-Saxon invader coming to Britain. It's quite a long one. Pause the video now. So I'm going to give you a bit of background. So there was a king, he was a British king, and he was called King Vortigern. And he was left in charge after the Roman armies left, but he faced great difficulty organising troops to hold back the Picts and Scots because they were really powerful and very, very good fighters. And he was really worried that they would take over in Britain. In a bid to keep control and keep the Picts at bay, it's believed that Vortigern asked two brothers called Hengist and Horsa from Jutland, which today is called Denmark, and he asked them to come and fight for him and to keep the Picts and the Scots out. So Hengist and Horsa were glad to oblige, so they said yes, and the Picts and Scots were successfully held back. However, the men liked what they found in Britain, and they decided they wanted to stay and take the land for themselves because it was rich and plentiful and the Britons could be easily defended. So Hengist and Horsa brought more warriors, and over time the invaders began to settle around Britain, pushing the Brits further and further out. Now, what it means is when they came to Britain, they found lots of places that they could do good farming. That's what it means. It was rich and plentiful. So they knew that they would do well over here. So the brothers and their warriors weren't the only ones who had their sights set on colonising Britain. That means coming over to Britain and settling over here. Other Germanic tribes had also been invading Britain for some time, and without Roman protection, they proved to be a formidable force against the Brits. These invaders are known to us as the Anglo-Saxons because the two biggest invading tribes were the Angles and the Saxons. And there were some other invaders as well, the Jutes, the Franks, the Frisians. They came from the modern places of Germany, Holland and Denmark. And we can see on this map here, so the Jutes, and there's a key down at the bottom. Remember, a key is really important on a map. So the Jutes tribe came from, can you see where? That's right, northern Denmark. And they settled mainly in Kent, where we live. And the Saxons came from Germany and the Netherlands, and they settled in East Anglia, which is still on the eastern side of the country, but a little bit further up than Kent. And then from southern Denmark came the Angles, and they settled in Northumbria and Mercia. And there were 7 kingdoms in Britain at the time, so they settled in these different places. And like I said, the Jutes came from northern Denmark, and they settled in Kent. So perhaps some of us have got ancestors, people that go back a long time in our families, that originated from the Jutes tribe. And if you were a Jute, you might have been called Hengist or Horsa. And if you're a Saxon, you would have one of these names. And an Angle, one of these names. They were strange names, weren't they? What you're going to do today is you're going to choose whether you are going to be a Jute, a Saxon, or an Angle. Now I'm just going to go back a slide. So remember, think about where you would want to settle. So pause the video and then you choose whether you're going to settle in East Anglia, Kent, Mercia or Northumbria. And write down which tribe you are from. So if you decide you're settling in Kent, you are a Jute, you are from northern Denmark, and you settle in Kent. So you need to write down that information now. So just pause the video so you can do that. And so if you've chosen to be a Jute, you can choose one of the Jute names for your kind of character today. So I'm going to pretend that my name is Horsa, okay? So because I am a Jute, I want to settle in Kent. So what we're going to do today is you're going to make an Anglo-Saxon Invader profile page. It's got to include your name, your Anglo-Saxon name that is, your age, which country did you come from, and which tribe do you belong to? Where are you going to settle? How did you travel to Britain? You might need to think about that one. Think about where they came from and how they will have had to get here. And your selfies. You're going to draw yourself as an Anglo-Saxon on your page as well. Oops. So have fun with that, making up your own Anglo-Saxon Invader profile. Remember, you will need to know the country that you came from, where you're going to settle, your name, which tribe you're from, and you will need to have a selfie and then think about how you travelled to Britain. Good luck, and I will see you tomorrow.